Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to Rise for Healthy Aging. We are so excited to have you here today. Without any further delays, I would request Professor Deepak Kumar Seni from Department of Developmental Biology and Genetics, IIC, and convener of Longevity India Initiative to take over the dais.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all as excited as I am to host this meeting here. And it's a pleasure to call the dignitaries onto the stage right now so we can get going with the opening ceremony. May I request Professor Rangarajan to preside over this function. Professor, thank you. May I invite our Honorable Health Minister, Shri Dinesh Gundu Rao, our Honorable Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha, Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, Professor Navkant Bhatt, Dean, Division of Interdisciplinary Sciences, Professor Usha Vijay Raghavan, Dean, Division of Biological Sciences, and we are still waiting for Mr. Prashant Prakash to be here, and I hope he can join us in time. Okay, perfect. We will start with a small lamp lighting ceremony. May I request the dignitaries on this dais to please, stage to please light the lamp. Thank you, everyone. To begin the proceedings, may I request Professor Navkant Bhatt to give some opening remarks.
Thanks, Professor Deepak Saini, and very good morning to all of you. There was a comment that we are starting on the dot. I think one of the secret for longevity is to be disciplined, right? So I think we are starting on an excellent note, and I'm indeed pleased that Deepak and his colleagues have put together this wonderful program. I believe this is going to be the first of many such conferences to come, organized by Longevity India. Longevity from time immemorial has been a dream, and more so today, having conquered most of the infectious diseases, the lifestyle diseases, and becoming a burden today. It's not just adding a few numbers against your age, right? It is healthy aging. That is most important. And given that the human beings are, one of the most complex systems. I mean, I come from engineering background, and I would like to look at it as a complex, dynamical system that you have. It's very, very difficult, first of all, to understand this, and then intervene appropriately. I think this is where coming together of disciplines, looking at both reductionistic principles as well as holistic principles is extremely important, and also coming together of multitude of themes, including, I'm very glad that we have representation from Ayush, right? I think there are many, many things that we can learn from different disciplines. I think we have, and also given the whole explosion of data science and AI that is happening in front of us, when you don't understand a very complex system, you try to just look at its representations and try to make sense of it, right? I think we will also have to do some of that as well, right? I think the opportunities are huge. And I do hope that you all will have excellent deliberations over the next couple of days. And, over the years, we will, of course, it's not going to be a magic pill for longevity. It would be many, many interventions. I think we will all have to also worry about, education and public advocacy as well in this long journey. Thank you, and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you, Professor Navkant. May I request Professor Usha Vijayaraghavan to say a few words?
Good morning, Honorable Minister, Director IISc, the dignitaries on the dais, as well as all the participants at this exciting and very opportune conference being hosted by the Longevity India program, RISE. For those of you who are not from the Bangalore ecosystem or from abroad, I see some of you international, IISc is an vibrant academic institution, an ecosystem that's thrived for 115 plus years, encompassing many aspects of science and engineering and addressing needs of the society as required. Beginning from researching antibiotics and vitamins and looking at sandalwood, or in the World War II type ecosystem, to the 21st century problem that society faced with the pandemic, where we researched on the virus, on antivirals, and developing diagnostics. IISc has always embraced very, very contemporary topics and brings to it the strength from multiple disciplines in science and engineering. So the questions which the Longevity India program and the RISE conference will deliberate on healthy aging, like my colleague Navkant mentioned, is something that's gripping us. We know that as a human species, we are living longer, simply because that we know a lot better on how to handle infectious diseases. But this also comes with the flip side of the coin that non-communicable diseases are on the rise. And therefore, one needs to research and understand in a deep way, how is it that us as a species can enjoy a healthy, longer life. And in this, a lot of research can be done both in model systems as well as in the human population. So multi-omics approach, a multidisciplinary approach, like Navkant mentioned, where can that happen? I can't think of a better ecosystem than that at IISc, which has the depth in science, all aspects of science, biology, chemistry, all aspects of engineering, and putting the best minds together can address something that we want to achieve for the well-being of humanity. Have a great meeting, and I hope to join as many sessions as possible.
Thank you, Professor Usha. May I request Mr. Prashant Prakash, our founding patron for Longevity India and also part of the Excel group. For us, from him, the founding patron for longevity is more important. So I request Prashant to talk a few words about his interest in this area and how he ended up becoming the founding patron for this program. Thank you, Prashant.
Yeah, thank you. So unlike other folks here who probably got into longevity science, starting with their work in laboratories and some of them in medical schools, my background is very different. I come from a computer science background and then systems engineering and systems modeling, and then my life took detours into venture capital, and I founded Accel, which is a global venture fund here in India. So we are kind of the preeminent global fund. But I think what here probably I want to share is how did I intersect paths with longevity and how did I get here? I think if I connect the dots back, I would kind of take my life back as a systems architect and computer architect, and kind of remember those days when we would architect these systems and break up very complex systems into subsystems and then look at scale look at architecture of these systems, resilience of these systems, interconnectedness of these systems, network architecture, the network effects of these systems. So fast forward probably 2-3 decades, I am kind of a little bit of COVID, and also, once you're 50 plus and aging, getting to 60, you start also looking at more closely at biology and what you left in college and high school, and start re-looking at a lot of that. And then you connect the dots with the idea that the problem with the current system, which of course, all of us are very familiar with, which is slightly more partitioned and siloed, and I'll not speak, I think everybody knows that. But I thought the real connection was with systems biology, and I think the maturity of the systems biology space over the years, I think has happened at a time when AI is also going to kind of make the transition of systems biology into mainstream. See, systems biology itself was getting more mainstream, but to be able to get it into clinical practice and to be able to get it actually into the real world, I think wouldn't have been possible without generative AI. And it's not only generative AI, I think it's a web of complex AI systems. You need classical reasoning AI systems, you need generative AI, you need what you call as quantitative language models, just not systems that can deal with English, but systems that can deal with more complex medical data. So there's really a coming together of all of this. And I think India is very uniquely positioned where we are at crossroads in our health system. We can, of course, we can retrace these steps and kind of catch up with what has happened in the West, and we know what has happened with the health systems there. Or we have the path like we have done in digital finance, in many other areas, in mobile technologies, where can we make a new paradigm in healthcare for this country, because we don't have a lot of healthcare. And when you don't have a lot of healthcare, you have the luxury to build something which is not compromised by all kinds of insurance entities and all kinds of entities. So this kind of landscape where we will be able to engineer something with AI, and really the promise of AI of building something that is that has the potential to be a digital good of sorts in the context of health, I think is what got me into working with Deepak and starting Longevity India here in IISc. And then you need to translate all of this, and that's where I founded BioPeak. So BioPeak is the one, is where you bring together advanced diagnostics, you bring together the ability to look at beyond blood work and look at more molecular pathways and molecular contexts, and marry all of this in the context of AI, and which is what BioPeak, and I think what BioPeak is doing is, again, very cutting edge, because in concierge medicine, there are things that you can do in the US and there are things that you can do in Singapore, but I think there is a little bit more of an open opportunity here in India to define the standards for concierge medicine, and we're working closely with folks in the Middle East, in Abu Dhabi and here, to really set the standards for the next generation of healthcare. So it's very, very interesting and exciting times, and I see some very familiar faces here who have seen a lot online, Matt and Brian, and they are real inspiration. Sachin is here, Sachin Panda. So while in my own journey as a computer scientist to understand all of this, of course, all of them, and the last I'll mention is Demis Hassabis, who recently got the Nobel Prize as a computer scientist. So we are entering an era where in the next 15 years, an AI agent will probably get a Nobel Prize. So we are into very, very exciting times where computer science will become kind of the glue that will bring everything together. And we are more, as computer scientists, I think we are more relevant, or as relevant as in any other times. Very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant. Thank you very much for your remarks. May I request our Honorable Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Shri Dinesh Gundu Rao, to give some opening remarks. Thank you.
It gives me great pleasure to be here for the Longevity India conference, the Enabling Healthy Aging, and all the dignitaries on the dais and all the people who are attending to discuss various aspects of aging and how we can age in a healthy manner and live longer. And of course, with the rapid development of science and research, lifespans have increased, and people are able to live much longer lives. And we have seen all around the world that many people in many countries, there's an aging population. And India, like what Prashant was just saying, we are somewhere in between, where we are at the crossroads. We are not an aging population because we still have the demographic dividend on our side. And so we are at, I think we've got a great opportunity here. The lifespan in India when we got independence was about, an average lifespan was about 32 years. Today we are at somewhere close to 70. So after 70 years, after 75 years, it's more or less doubled. So if we can keep up the same rate, after another 75 years, we should be living to the age of 140, which may not be impossible, which may be possible, because there is so much happening in the field of medical science, biosciences, and at the cellular level, molecular level, where they are not only talking about increasing your lifespan, how we can reduce aging or slow down aging, but also reverse aging, where how we can not only stop aging from happening, but also how we can reverse the process of aging. So there is, I think, ultimately, science may even find one day the ability to maybe achieve immortality also. We don't know. But definitely there is so much happening. And for a country like India, where we have a huge population, and our population will continue to grow for the next at least 30 years. And I think our population is predicted to start reversing at the year 2060, 2065. We are already at a TFR of 2.0, which is below 2.1. So we have gone below the replacement level. So definitely we have a demographic advantage as of now. And as the population ages, I think the biggest challenge is how we can make that aged population continue to lead fulfilling lives, continue to contribute to society, continue to be able to do things that they want to do, and to be able to do and achieve things and learn things even though you're getting older. And not just become like what we feel when we say when we get old, that it's now a retired life. So that is something that I think is what we need to work on, because we want people to continue to contribute. And that can happen if you're able to live a healthy life. So it's not just a long life, but it's the healthy life which makes it most important. And how we can improve the health of an individual, and how we can prevent onset of diseases, or how we can change the way we are living so that we prepare ourselves for a long life ahead. And that starts from a young age. I think recently, nationally, there's a campaign going on against obesity. And there's so much awareness about the kind of lifestyle that we lead, the kind of food that we eat, and the kind of approach we have. And that there is a direct link between our lifestyle and the diseases that we are getting today. And so to be able to live a long and healthy life, I think it starts fundamentally from a young age. And if you're able to manage that well, if you're able to discipline yourself well, and you're able to have good habits, I think most diseases today, we are able to, cure those diseases through medical science. Most of them, at least. But as long as your basic health is good, then you are able to lead fulfilling lives. At an old age, you should be able to travel, you should be able to do things, you should be able to work, you should be able to study, you should be able to, do everything that a person at a young age is doing. So even if you're at the age of 75 or 80 or even 85, you should be ready to contribute to society. I think that's what, as a government, when we look at it, it should not be that aged people are a burden or they are a cost on society. They should become, in fact, a contributing part of our society. And I think that's where longevity, India, the slogan that they have is enabling healthy aging. So this is what we need. We want people to be able to lead a healthy life, not just a long life. And for that, I'm sure there are so many experts who have come over here, so many people who are, experts in the field of medical science, bioscience, nanotechnologies, artificial intelligence, quantum computing. All these things are coming together now. And so many things which were thought unimaginable earlier or not possible is become possible today. So these kind of conferences, I think, will enhance our knowledge, enhance our capabilities to tackle the challenges that we're going to face in the future, and how we can prepare ourselves. Because we have the advantage now of learning from what the West is doing, learning from what the aged countries are doing, and being able to apply to our country. And so that's an advantage that we have. So we should make use of that, and I'm sure that, these things will really help our society to be able to become, more stronger and to be able to be a more a fruitful society, a society which is active and dynamic. And I think this is great, and I want to congratulate all the people who thought about doing this. And this, I'm sure, will be more such conferences, more such interactions, and more such things will really help. And I'm sure things are going to get much, much better for us. So thank you for calling me. Sorry, I'm on a tight schedule. I need to go to the assembly, and I'll not be able to spend much time. But definitely after your conference gets over, I'll definitely interact with the people over here and see what was the outcome of all the discussions here and how we can use it in our own health policies in the state. How we can, use some of the good things that come out from here, and how we can use it in our government functioning and the things that we do in government. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Shreya Gundurao. It was pretty nice that actually succinctly captured our intent and our strength in your speech. It is indeed the idea that we should promote healthy aging, and especially in the context of India, which right now we claim to have a demographic dividend, that we are a young country, and suddenly we are going to look at staring at a large number of aged people, and that's where we think our initiative will make a difference. At this time, I take pleasure to invite Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha sir to actually give some remarks and share his vision about healthy longevity with all of us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Deepak ji. Honorable Minister Sri Dinesh Gundurao ji, or the Director IISc, Professor Govindam Rangarajan ji, on the stage, Professor Navakant ji, Usha ji, Prashant ji, Deepak ji. Of the stage, MLC Sri Manjunath ji, and my colleagues from the Ministry of Ayush, all the distinguished participants. It's a pleasure and honor for me to be here. I will not repeat what has been already told, but I want to make a point from the perspective of government that whenever we talk about health, whenever we think about any policy, we usually end up into the management of the disease. We end up into constructing hospitals and health infrastructure, but is primarily to treat the diseases, but not there is not much has been done to look at the health per se of an individual. So this is very important that we are assembling here to talk about rise for healthy aging and looking at this, upcoming big problem globally for the aging population. From the Ayurveda perspective, it is interesting that there is a whole science of Rasayana talks about the aging population and how to provide a healthy aging or quality health for the aging population in the Rasayana. There are a couple of definitions. One is Labhopayo hi sasthanam rasadinam rasayanam, which means that the science or practice which helps optimizing all the tissues of the body, and the other is Rasayanam yat jara vyadhi nasanam, means Rasayana is which addresses the geriatric population, provide them quality health and also cure the diseases. But when we talk about Rasayanam, it is interesting that they don't just talk about some medicine or some products or some herbs. In addition to herbs, they talk about several lifestyle interventions. For example, yoga or sleep or the behavioral changes. They call it Achara Rasayana. Achara Rasayana means that how to behave, our social connect, how to have our social life into the aging population. So it's like a detailed description about how to provide a quality health for the aging population. This is very interesting. We have started a lot of different work in this area. For example, we have our JNU colleagues sitting here. So there is a Center of Excellence in JNU, and they have started an Ayurveda biology program leading to postgraduate MSc Ayurveda biology. So Prashantji was just mentioning systems biology is the core where all the other areas connect to understand this thing. And we already have started this Ayurveda biology program, and JNU, I compliment JNU and their team here. We have another scientist sitting here who is from IB and Institute of Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology. And she is an Ayurveda professional and working in IGIB and working on understanding the Prakriti principles of Ayurveda and its connections with human genomes. So such kind of things, I also compliment Professor Navakant having a COE, Center of Excellence of Ayush in IISc and looking and working in different areas. So before I close, I want to cite an interesting study which I saw when I was Vice Chancellor of Gujarat Ayurveda University, Jamnagar. We had a PhD student from Karnataka, and he had taken a small study. It was proof of concept study. And it was study on Vayasthapana. Vayasthapana means the herbs which restores the aging. So these Vayasthapana herbs, there are different herbs. There are three primary herbs. One is Amlaki, the Guduchi, and another is Ashwagandha. So he decided to take these two herbs, Amlaki and Guduchi. Guduchi is Tinospora cordifolia and Amlaki is Indian gooseberry, Emblica officinalis. And he did this on lab on the Drosophilus. The study was on Drosophilus. We all know that average lifespan of Drosophilus is 18 to 21 days. And he did this study having a control group and then the Drosophilus taking a standardized dose of Amlaki and another group taking Guduchi. So the outcome was very interesting. It was a very small study, but outcome was very interesting. That the group taking Guduchi lived for average 88 days in place of 21 days. And the group who were taking Amlaki lived more than 100 days. To be precise, 109 days. So this showcases that we have a lot of strength to look at this possibility which Honorable Minister says. Maybe we can live 140 years, after 100 years. It is possible. It is possible only through this networks of different sciences and then collaborating with each other. That is the demand of the time, is the need of the hour. And Navakantji mentioned this, that we have two approaches, the reductionist approach and holistic approach. So I think both approaches are good, but fusion of both is required. Where we come up with something like in fusion technology, big energy comes out. So with the fusion of reductionist approach and holistic approach, maybe we come out with some great big evidences and solution for this healthy aging. Thank you so much for inviting me, and my namaskaram to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for those interesting insights. I mean, the point which I really like that what you mentioned is that we need to transition from sick care to health care, and from a reductionist approach to a holistic approach. And I think that should be the premise of healthy aging, that we start treating an individual as bigger than net sum of all the organs in our body, which is what a current treatment plan treats, that we treat one organ, but we need to talk about body as a whole. Thank you so much. May I request Professor Rangarajan to give his remarks and hand over mementos to the speakers. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Let me welcome all of you, especially those from outside IISc to this lovely campus. I hope you have a very productive few days of discussion during this conference. I think this is a very important conference. As others have stressed, aging, even though it may at first glance may not appear to be a problem that concerns India, given the average age is quite low in India. But we have already around 150 million people who are above the age of 60. And so in absolute numbers, the number of people who are above 60 is very large. So therefore, we need to tackle this problem and ensure that they all have a healthy lifespan. So this, I think, conference is quite apt and quite, appropriate for understanding not just global issues in aging, but in particular the issues related to aging in India. Also, I would like to take this opportunity to announce that ICMR, the Indian Council for Medical Research, is supporting the Longevity India with a 5-year project by making this into a center for advanced research in aging. So this really is a big boost for this whole venture. And this Center for Advanced Research will focus on, of course, healthy aging, but also look at novel models for modeling aging, and look at the gut aging axis and things like that. And it involves 5 departments. Other than the biology department, it also includes computer science and materials engineering, again highlighting the fact that every subject that we study now has become truly interdisciplinary. So there's nothing like any subject which can be studied in a single department. So I'm really happy with this development, and I'm sure this will lead to further progress in the study of healthy aging. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Professor Rangarajan. I think we are bang on time, and that shows that we're running a very tight ship here. And thank you everyone on the stage to gracing this occasion, and really appreciate your time, which is very precious for all the meetings, to come here and actually give your kind words for this meeting. I request Professor Rangarajan to hand over some mementos to the people on the stage. Mr. Dinesh Gundu Rao. Vaidya Rajesh Koticha, sir. Mr. Prashant Prakash. Professor Navkant, reverse order. And Professor Usha. Yes. And I would like to hand memento to Professor Rangaraj. Thank you very much.
Okay.